This is Northwest Connects. I'm Colerain, Waycross Community Media. We welcome the Superintendent of Northwest Local School District, Darrell Yater. Darrell, it's good to see you again.
You too.
Now let's talk about, of course, one of the things we want to mention about Colerain Elementary. Now last year, the district had to update its master plan, if you will, to address the needs of the district's aging buildings. You have one building that's 100 years old. I'm not quite there. You have another building that's less than 100 years old. So give us an update on what the district's facility needs are.
So as a district, we have a wide range of needs with our facilities because of our aging facilities and the fact that over the years, there's just been more needs than funds to address them. So Colerain Elementary, being the oldest building, also has some of the most extreme needs of the plan, but our long-term plan is to make sure that we continue to maximize state dollars through the various programs the state offers to make sure that new buildings can be built addressing our capacity needs and our facility needs for the long-term sustainability of the district.
Well, back in May, you mentioned about extreme needs. Some of the issues with the Colerain Elementary are bricks falling off the building. What about the update of that situation?
So a lot's happened this summer. We ended the year with bricks falling off the front of the building, construction fencing, scaffolding. Throughout the summer, we've been working with architects, engineers, and various contractors, and a section of bricks on that area have been removed. We also had to remove the windows and replace those, and we've done some addressing of that area. It doesn't look like it did before. We didn't replace it with bricks. It has some other remediation to make sure that it is waterproofed, so it doesn't match and it doesn't look pretty, but it is functional. We've also had to address the roof line because the bricks went all the way up to the roof. And then on the other two sides of the building, we've had some loose bricks, which is why the scaffolding and the fencing was around 3/4 of the building. So throughout the summer, we've been addressing that by pinning those bricks up. So that work will be done before the start of the school year, which will allow us to remove some of the barriers that are around the building and will prepare the school for the opening of this year.
Well, talk to me about the safety of the building for the students and the staff as you're preparing to return to school.
So safety is always a top priority for the district, and the building is safe. So students can enter, staff can work. We've been able to remediate the exterior issues that we have. So the building will be ready. However, because these are temporary fixes, we're not sure exactly how long those will last and what other issues might come up throughout the current year or the upcoming years.
You mentioned about the short term, taking care of the short-term concerns. What about the long-term plan for the Colerain Elementary? Will you repair it or replace the building?
That is the great news that we have to share. Over the summer, we worked with the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, which is an agency at the state level. We were in a program with them when we built our 3 new elementaries. We earned credits during that time frame to maximize funding for the community. We were in contact with them immediately when the bricks started falling about our needs here. We were able to work with them. Although we didn't get everything we were asking for, we were hoping that they would increase the % reimbursement that they would give us. We had an amazing response from our community to help put pressure on them with a letter writing campaign. They were able to move us into a co-funded project. So with the fact that we have the credits from our initial project with the 3 new elementaries and the co-funding from the state and the funds that the district is able to put up with the elementary, we're going to be able to rebuild a brand new Colerain Elementary without going to the voters for a bond. So that process has already started in the planning. It will not be on the same site, however. So we will be rebuilding Colerain Elementary on our Houston site.
Now, how will this change impact other schools or departments within the district?
Well, I just mentioned that we're going to build it on the Houston site, and at Houston, we actually have a building that houses our preschool. So that is going to displace preschool. So we're in the process of looking at all of our options, making some final plans. Initially, we'll probably have to move preschool out of that building. The only building we currently have that has swing space that could accommodate preschool would be our central office, which would then move our central office to a new location. So a lot of dominoes are still yet to fall. What we do know is that we are going to have a brand new Colerain Elementary on that Houston site. It takes about 3 years for that process to play out and for that building to be ready to be opened and occupied. And that's that timeline we have to play with, because we said the fixes at Colerain Elementary are temporary, and we're hoping that they will hold throughout the process of building the new one. So it's a seamless transition for the students to go from their current location to their new location.
Well, financially, how is the district able to build a new elementary school without going to the community for a bond?
So we have, as one of our major pillars, fiscal responsibility. And so that is something we take very serious. We have a 3% partnership with the community where we will not increase our expenses more than 3% from one year to the next. Through the pandemic, we had trouble filling a lot of positions. So we had positions that we had allocated funds for, but were unable to fill because there weren't people who were applying for the positions. There have been a lot of factors with reevaluations, with state funding formulas. And so maintaining that 3% allowed us earlier in February this year to actually take $20 million and move it from our cash balance, our cash reserve, into our master facility fund. One of the things that we had heard from the community as we had been on the ballot with previous bonds was wanting to make sure that the dollars from the district were being maximized and that we were strategic in that way. So we wanted to show the community that we not only were being fiscally responsible, but we were aligning the resources we had to the priorities of the district and the needs of the district.
Well, it's very evident that it's a true indication of the intentional planning which is necessary. Now tell me about the district, how it's positioned itself to maintain fiscal responsibility.
So I mentioned the fact that we have the 3% partnership, which is a huge commitment that we make to align not only our resources, but to monitor how we're using our resources to make sure that we don't grow more than we can afford. We also make sure that through that planning process, we've aligned our resources. We've made sure that we've put the money where our greatest needs are. We heard a lot through our campaigns about how the community wants us to take care of our buildings, do your preventative maintenance. And one of the reasons that Montford Heights has so many needs is because of needing some of the maintenance, because it's almost 25, 30 years old, so things happen. And so when we mentioned earlier that we moved $20 million into the master facility plan, we also moved $10 million into our maintenance fund. So we were able to take care of some of those needs at Montford Heights so that it's not on the list needing to be replaced. We've already taken care of updating that as well. So that intentional planning and really being thoughtful about when there are savings, where they go. It doesn't mean that the state funding formula has changed and the need for levies and all of that has changed, but our ability to be intentional with our planning, with our allocations, and with our resource allocations has allowed us to not only take care of the preventative maintenance of Montford Heights, co-fund a project for building a new Colerain Elementary, but has also allowed us to push off any need for additional revenue beyond our initially projected cycle. So we're very proud of the fiscal responsibility and where we are with all of the accomplishments we've been able to do.
Darrell, thank you for sharing this exciting news. It is exciting news for the parents, for the school district, and everyone involved, your staff, everybody. Kudos to them.
Exciting and unprecedented in a lot of ways that not many districts can say that they were able to build a building without a bond.
This has been Northwest Connects. I'm Kurt Radel, Waycross Community Media. We'll see you next time.